Good morning. Today is the 13th of March 2024 and I'm going to go over my trading plan and my levels for today. Before I do, just a quick look at today's news, and we've got nothing of high importance and we've got hardly any news today. We've got some oil coming in at 10:30. 1 o'clock we've got the 30-year bond auction, so just be wary of that. That gives it 2 out of 3. So heading into the levels, we're kind of right up here now in this area of demand, supply, and all-time highs is at 52, 57 area, 52, 60, this area here, and we are kind of in a strong uptrend still. It's still hard to go against the trend. So with that in mind, my first level I'm watching is going to be a break and retest of the pre-market high and yesterday's high, so this level here. Let me just draw that in so we've got it for reference. And then that is the area I'm watching, 52.47 break and retest. However, we are coming into all-time highs, which is a possible rejection area, and we've got a round number 52.50 as well, so we could offer overhead resistance. However, little volume in that area, and if we're going to go for a reject, then we need to kind of watch that area and look for a turnaround in the market and with confirmation. So I'm going to put a higher risk rejection, only because the trend is so high, and I'm going to say 52.50 through to all-time high 52.57, and that's a higher risk rejection. I'm going to go with a higher, probably still a higher risk break and retest, because we are in this area of demand and supply, and so I'm going to go 52.47 break and retest long. If we do grind up and get above all-time high, that could also be a break and retest level, or we can look for an add if we're in the long. But it's a tough one. I'm not sure what is going to happen when we get up there, so I'm going to keep an eye on the market. I'll be watching the order flow, the volume, and the price action to see what happens when we get to around 52.50. As for bounces, still quite like the bounce if we get back down to this area. It's kind of an area of confluence. That's a higher probability 52.20 bounce if we get back down to there, and obviously if we get back down to this trend line, we can see we had a big reaction a few days ago, got close to it again a few days earlier. So if we get down to 51.80 to 51.90, then I'll be looking for a bounce in that area. I've not really got a line drawn because I'm just going to use a trend line. And if we look for a higher risk bounce, probably it's already happened in the pre-market. I was going to say there's an area of confidence just here, and that's at 52.35, and you can see we've got pre-market low area, tops of yesterday's those candles, tops of that area, kind of a bit of a confidence as well on Friday last week, but higher risk. It's difficult, it's not a very good place to look. We need it to come all the way back down, and so we've got some levels to play with. It'll be a day of being patient and watching for the hourly levels coming. I think my two higher probability plays will be I'm going to go with a break and retest of the pre-market high, but we'll be kind of keeping my stop tight there. I'm not going to use the bottom of that candle. I'm going to look for a pullback with a stop really tight, and then with a potential to scalp it because we're coming into this all-time high in this area, which is a potential reject. And then my next area is the bounce down at 52.20. I do also quite like 5200, which is a round number, and it's a psychological number. This area here happens to be yesterday's low as well. So we come back down to that area, I'll be watching for a potential bounce. In fact, I'm going to move, I'll keep that, I'm going to add this area here. This is a bit of an area of confidence as well, yesterday's low. So we've got yesterday's low, kind of got the tops of candles, bottoms of this candle, area of confidence, tops and bottoms here, and kind of near the bottoms there. So again, not amazing levels today. That's it really, nothing more to look at. Let's just go to the daily, 'cause I like to look at the daily and see where we are. We're kind of trailing this trend line, and so kind of like we come back down into this area, I'll be looking for a potential bounce. Let's just clone that. Kind of try and fit it in. You can see we've barely been able to get to the top of this channel. Kind of looked a bit weaker here, but volume wise we've got strong volume, and we haven't had a strong volume for some time. Maybe there, a little bit there, but mainly down here. So lots of strong volume over the next few days may signify a bit of a change of trend where the buyers and sellers are battling it out over here at all-time highs. So we've yet to also to touch the top end of this channel as well, which may signify a little bit of weakness. So it's something to keep an eye on. Okay, so next let's look at SPY. Same as SPY, we can watch kind of a rejection up here for all-time highs, 51.18. Obviously 518. 520, a round number, could be an area we watch for rejection if we break through all-time highs. And basically the break and retest of the pre-market going with this strong daily and hourly trend. And then bounce location is going to be around this area here. So 514 for a bounce, and that's based on area confluence, which is tops, candles, bottoms, tops, candles, and kind of in the middle of them all here. Got the 50 moving average directly below as well, so that can act as resistance. And we've got this volume point of control and yesterday's low all in that area, so we can watch 513 to 514 for a bounce. I didn't notice the volume. Yeah, our volume on, there's the point of control on this chart. Wait for it to load. Oh, around about 52.10, 52.08, the area we're kind of watching for that other bounce as well. So yesterday's low area, so point of control is down there, so we know there's volume down at this level. Okay, so let's look at NQ next. Still looking a bit weaker than ES. Potentially, we had this head and shoulders pattern here, kind of expired, but you could say take it as a bigger head and shoulders pattern. Left shoulder, the head looks like Batman. Just draw his eyes in there. And then we've got the right shoulder potentially forming. It's broken structure, it's broken the moving averages. This looks weaker. I quite like a pull back to this VWAP area for a rejection. Maybe a rejection at yesterday's high. But if we don't reject it, then we can watch for a break and retest through pre-market high. And we've got this kind of big void to get up into this area of demand. So potentially it's weaker. Excuse me. Potentially it's weaker than ES and SPY. But you know, all I'm seeing now is this head and shoulders pattern kind of forming, and this is the right shoulder. Not great, even though that technically that pivot makes it the head shoulder. I've got the left shoulder here. I'm sorry, that makes the head, and this makes the right shoulder. So we're interested to see what happens. And you can clearly see that the neckline down here, that's the neckline area, which is 18,100. So let's find a level. If we come back up into 18,450 to 475, maybe 1850, we can look for a rejection, kind of a big area. If we get above yesterday's high and pre-market high, we can look for a break and retest long. So 18,500, I think is going to be the key area today. And then obviously up at this area, we can look for rejection, all-time highs. Qs. Same pattern really, so break and retest a pre-market high, a bounce if we get down to 436, and this neckline. Also we've got this trend line, and that's the weekly or the monthly trend line. You can see how we've kind of tested it there, and we've spiked through it. Let's go down to the weekly. put in that nice rejection weekly candle as well. So potentially that we could see that as a, I wouldn't say it's a strong reversal candle, but we've definitely engulfed the previous week and see where we end up this week. But it's right at that weekly level, so you need to keep an eye on that. So a bounce level will be down here at 436 to 437, and a break and retest will be at 444 to 444.50. Next, SPX. Yet again, 5100. Well, we did quite get it yesterday, still holding, it held here. It kind of created the ceiling there, now it's created the floor. So I'm kind of watching for a bounce. If we get down to 5100, I'll be looking for a bounce, and I've got an alert sitting there to let me know. Otherwise we've got all-time highs, 51.89, and the only place I can see we're probably going to be above it when we open. If I think we're up slightly today, I know kind of where we started. So maybe a break and retest off the all-time highs on SPX, and I won't use SPX, but I'll be looking at ES if I can take the trade. Gold next. So it's broken that 50 moving average, this red line, and we look like we're coming back up to test it again. So I quite like a short along there. Probably wait for confirmation. It did test it yesterday. I think I was watching for a break and retest, which kind of, you could say it did it. But we're kind of putting in this bit of a bear flag, if you want to call it a bear flag. So still in a massive uptrend as well, so bear that in mind. But if we break down below pre-market low, we can look for a short. Break above pre-market high and confirm it, we can look for a long. But we've also got the 50 moving averages curving around, so we can watch for this area confluence, which will be about there for rejection. I can see that area, and there's one area below that area. These two areas, exactly where we are now. I'm basically looking at tops of candles and bottoms of candles, just along here. That's the only two areas really I can watch for. Oil, this is CL, the crude oil futures. Okay, so we've had a bit of a breakout above yesterday's high, and if we can pull back down to that level, 78.50 through to 78.75 area for a bounce. That's all I can see. Rejection wise, probably around 80 to 80.50. This area here for rejection. Is that all-time high? Not all-time highs. And look at that nice area confluence as well. So always go back and look back on the higher time frame. It kind of confirms an area. So we've got that area for rejection. Kind of got pivots there, but what I would like is bottoms of candles, and you can't see it, but off screen there's tops of candles there as well. So watch 80-40, that area is a big area. Let's just draw the area in. Zoom out a bit more. Kind of this area here for a rejection, and you can see there we've got tops, kind of near the top, bottoms, tops, kind of bottom of that pivot there as well, and tops there. So that's an area of confluence, and that's what I'm looking for. So volume wise, it says there's not much volume in that area, so maybe there's not. But we can watch that area for rejection, or we can watch it for a break and retest long, so it kind of gives you two trades. Okay, RTY next, which is the Russell 2000. See, this is looking a bit weaker. We're in a downtrend, kind of putting this, could say a head and shoulders pattern. Neckline is where we are right now. So the neckline just here. Kind of look for an entry right now, maybe to break and retest below pre-market low to continue the trend down. We've got yesterday's low as first target, maybe an add point if we break through and retest it, and then we've got this kind of void below until we get to that area there. So all the way down to 2061, maybe a little bit junk around there, but we have got this high volume, concentrated volume here. This is the volume profile, and we can see we've got a lot of volume in that area, so that's kind of an area to use as a target if we're short, and then the break and retest of that area once we've broken through that volume. And then lastly we've got YM, which is the Dow Jones. Again, not putting in all-time highs, but we're kind of at this area of confluence right now. So bottoms of candles, this is like the neckline of this head and shoulders, tops of these these pivots here. Kind of tested it yesterday, and we could come back in. So higher probability plays to break and retest of yesterday's high. And I say high probability, that's purely because we're kind of in this hourly uptrend. Slightly higher low there, higher low, and we look like we want to put in a new higher high and then pull back for a higher low. So 39,540, 39,550, that area for break and retest long, and that's it really. I'll just look at Bitcoin, which is still very, very rampant. This is the daily Bitcoin. I can't see, me personally, can't find any long entries around it. It's just too extended. Hammer candle may be a sign of weakness. Look at this big hammer candle as well, another sign of weakness. Higher volume, look at the volume as well. We can see a lot of volume coming in, where average volume as well below that. And we're kind of high up in the RSI as well. Yeah, overextended, overbought as well. So the pullback is due, it's just a matter of when. There's not much volume up this area, so it's just a matter of waiting for a pullback for an entry. And I think the best area for a pullback will be here, 54,000, and then maybe 40,000. These are the two areas. I've got that marked at 59,000, but I'm not a big fan of it, only because we pulled back to that area. You know what? If we're going to pull back, we want to watch for a proper pullback area. We kind of held an area for a while, not just one day. That's it. Can it get to 100,000? Yeah, maybe. Let's go into the weekly. But look at that, it's so extended. It needs to come back to home base at some point. And we've got the 20 down there, the 50. We haven't been back to the 50 since 2023, the start of it. So it's due a pullback. It's very extended. So that's why I've been buying every month. I've been buying on the way down this area here, and as it's been going up. And I took profit at 61,000, I think it was, around about there, and then at 69 or 69,000, close to 70,000 when it was breaking the all-time high, and then I took some off at 72 as well. So, and I don't have much of Bitcoin, and what I was doing, I took 50% off at 60,000, 61,000 I think it was at the time, because I saw this volume coming in, and it was very extended. So that's 50% off, and I took another 50% off of what I'd left. Then at 70,000, or give or let, a little bit above or below, and then I took another 50% off when I was at 72,000, and I'll leave the other little bit left what's in there, because if we do see a run up to 100,000, then I'm still involved with it. But if it comes back down to these areas, I'll be looking to add what I've taken out back in again. You know, I don't want to play my own money, it's play market money. So the profits will be the market money I'll be re-adding back in. Unless of course we see it nosedive and it ends up back down here, but who knows. That's it. Let's just look at ES again, see if anything's changed. No, we're still consolidating in this range. So we need to see it break out of that area, either break of the pre-market high or break below pre-market low. In fact, I'm going to add one more play. If we get down below the pre-market low, I'll be looking for a short, because I want to see it break and hold below this 20 moving average on the hourly. So break and retest a pre-market low at 52.35 is a play I'm watching. Let's get rid of the anchored VWAP. We don't need that now. I always put the anchored VWAP on when we have news days, because you can see how it holds. You see it held up and stayed above that anchored VWAP from yesterday. Okay, so market opens in 10 minutes. Trade safe and have a good day. Thank you for watching.